Show me talk. Money rush, I got money crash. Money rush, I got money crash.
What's up?
Shawty can't fuck me up cause I'm in love with drugs. Shawty can't fuck me up cause I'm in love with drugs. Shawty can't fuck me up cause I'm in love with drugs.
Alright guys, so we're back working on the Accord again. Today we have new headlights. These are black housing headlights that I just bought from Amazon. You can get them on eBay or like any actual like company for more expensive, but these obviously are for my car, which is an 07 Accord sedan. And if you haven't seen the video on new wheels, coils, and side skirts, and all the other small stuff that I've just recently done, you should go watch that. But I just bought these because my old headlights are first chrome, and I don't really like that, but also they're really hazy. But that's also after doing a headlight restoration kit and after doing it like myself with like sandpaper and like actual clear coat. So that's from the car just being 15 years old, and they definitely need to be replaced. So I went ahead and got some black housing headlights, brand new, $80 on Amazon. If you want the same ones, I'll link them down below. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to need to do is take off the bumper. So open up your hood. You don't have to disconnect your battery for this project unless you are changing your headlights themselves, which I'm not yet. That's going to be a different video in the future. I'm going to be changing them to LEDs, just not today. So the first thing you need to do is take out all of the clips on this front piece right here. It's just a bunch of these, which you can use flatheads just to get inside, pop that up, and then you can get this off. And then all you have to do is basically the same thing, just on the underside. You just have a bunch of those clips and then a couple 10 mil bolts, which you can just use a ratchet or a wrench, and then take your front bumper off, and then I'll show you what to do from there. Okay, just got the front bumper off. These are the three parts that you're gonna have. You got this part that goes and just covers the top. It's not really a real part. And then those are all the clips that you have with it, and I'm missing a few, that's why there's not as many. And then you're gonna have that part which goes on top of your front bumper, which has your Honda badge and attaches to those 4 pink clips. And then underneath the bumper you have these 10 mils and then a bunch of those clip pins I was talking about. And then you can take off your front bumper. And then if you have fog lights like me, or if you added aftermarket fog lights, you're gonna have to disconnect those like that so that you can be able to take off your bumper without just leaving it hanging here. So now to take off the old OEM headlights, what you're gonna have to do is take out 5 bolts. So you're gonna have to take out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one is right here, hiding right there. They're all 10 mils. And so once again, you're gonna have to get that one right there, 1, that one right there, 2, that one right there, 3, and then those 2 right there, 4 and 5. And then since I have this as my ground for my headlights, I'm gonna just be careful with that and make sure I reconnect that properly. Or not for my headlights, for my fog lights. So if you did the same thing as me, if you followed my old video, which you can watch right there for adding those aftermarket fog lights, pretty sick. That's where I put my ground if you followed my tutorial exactly. So just if you have a ground right here or anywhere else where you have to take off a bolt, just make sure that you disconnect it properly. And if you don't disconnect your battery, just make sure it doesn't like mess with anything, and just keep it out of the way while you're working. Alrighty, after you get those 5 screws off, you can go ahead and just take off your headlight, but you can't take it off completely because obviously you have all your actual headlight, the bulbs, still in there. So what you gotta do, it's kind of hard to record, but you just take it and you can kind of lean it against your bash bar, and it's your leg, your bash bar and your leg. And so just do like that, and then all you have to do is just turn your headlight. So you see here, I'll go ahead and do it. Okay, so how these work is you have little grooves like that, and so you just have to turn them. And so whenever they're in there and like latched in there, they go and they turn underneath that screw. And like with my fog lights, they just turn into the light, and they just like, they're kind of built like that, except that comes out. So anyways, so you just turn it and then kind of jiggle it out, and that's your bulb. And then what you can do to kind of remember the position is just remember green is, I don't know completely, I'm not 100% sure which one is like high beam, low beam, and running lights. I think this is your low beam, so just remember green is that first one, white is I think high beam, and that's that second one, and then that one I think is running lights, and that one just goes there. So just kind of remember the position, and then like I was saying, you just have to turn them. It's a lot easier to do with two hands, but there you go. Just turn it and then set it aside. And I do know it's best to try not to like let them touch anything, so just kind of try to position it, and definitely don't touch them with your fingers. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's something about like getting like grease on them. It can like mess with the bulb. So just be careful with them. Be careful with any wires. I'm not really like an electrician. I don't really understand how all that works. But I think if you redo new light bulbs, you have to disconnect your battery, or at least like your negative. I'm really not sure, but I'm not replacing the bulbs today, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then just do this one, do all three, and then take it out and put the new headlight in. Okay, I got the new headlight now, and now it's just the same thing, just in reverse. I went ahead and did these two bulbs, but all you have to do is just take your bulb and put it in. But whenever you get your new headlight, they'll have these little sticky protector things. Really easy to take off. Just take it off, get your new bulb, make sure you have your things in the right spot, put it in, twist it, and you're good. Then you just have to put it back in place. Make sure you peel this back, the little wrap, just a tiny bit. You don't have to pull it off all the way. You just pull it back like to right here, so whenever you put it in, the fender doesn't squish it, and then you'll have that like flapping around everywhere. Then put in those 5 screws in the same place, and you're good. All right, just finished her up. Got the bolts back in. They are a little funky because it doesn't have the same bracket right here for those 2 bolts. So what I did, since I have a ground right here, is I just used one of the old ones and put in my ground again. Let's go ahead and get a satisfying. I'll show you a better after once we're done, but you can see, I mean, just look. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and ceramic coat that once I finish up this project. I'm gonna clean it with some isopropyl alcohol and then ceramic coat it so it'll stay durable. The fitment is a little funky. It's not the worst, you can't really tell. I mean, 5 feet away, you can't tell. And it helps that it's a black housing because of that. Since you have black right here, not chrome, it's a lot harder to see that gap right there, because just 5 feet away, it just looks like it's a part of the headlight. Even though you got funky fitment, like that right there goes in, right here it's pointing out, and then right here goes back in, and you have like a 1/2 inch gap right there. Well, maybe not a 1/2 inch, but that's just my detail of an eye. But it looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one, show you the after, and then show you with the lights on. Okay, got both sides finished up. They are looking clean. The fitment, actually, whenever I was working on this one to take it off, I noticed the fitment isn't actually like off. It's pretty much like the exact same. That's just like my OCD, because the OEM fitment is just like the same way that is now. So basically they're like an exact perfect match. The only difference is that it doesn't have the bracket for these 2 bolts right here. But that doesn't really matter because the 3 bolts hold it in just fine. You don't really need 5 bolts, but I'll put everything back together, bumper back together, that back on the bumper, and then that on top connected with the rest of the car, and then I'll show you with the headlights on later too. Okay, we got her all done. They look sick. I'm in love with them. They look so good. You guys can follow me on Instagram at slow.accord. I'm going to be posting some pictures with this very soon. Once I go get some pictures, I'll turn on the headlights real quick. So yeah, that's them with the headlights on, with my fog lights on. I definitely think I need to go get some LEDs. It kind of looks like I have LEDs whenever just like on camera, and it kind of does in person too, but also LEDs will be a lot brighter. and so I think that'll look good. I'll make another video about that, but like I said, you guys, that was it for this video. You can follow me on Instagram, my car account, slow.accord. I think there's an underscore at the end, but just look that up. You'll find my build, and then you can follow along. I'm going to be posting some good pictures with this, and you can see my build as it goes along. That was it for this video. Please like and subscribe. Have a good one.